Good evening and welcome to the out-of-state student panel. My name is Carrie and I am with the Office of Admissions. Tonight, you are going to hear from students, Hope students, and they all live out of state. The reason we decided to do this is we get so many questions from students who fly in and visit Hope, and we thought, okay, what a better way to do this than to offer it over a Zoom. So some of you may be in Florida and thinking, okay, I want to go to a school that has a change of seasons. Or maybe you're sitting in your home in LA and you're thinking, okay, I want to go to school that's a bit more relaxing. Maybe there's not the traffic. Maybe you're out east in Virginia and you're thinking, I love the beach, I love the greenery, but I want to go somewhere that's a little bit more resorty. Or maybe you're really close. Maybe you're in Indiana. You could drive here and you're like, I just want to be that out of state student. Well, tonight you're going to meet these students who maybe thought that way because they, as I said, they're from all over the United States. We'd like this evening to be more of a conversation. The students and I have thought of questions that we get all the time from our prospective students, but please ask us questions. At the bottom, you'll see the Q&A. Just type in a question and we will get it to you, the answer to you. So I'd like to bring on the students and we'll start with introducing them. Fantastic. We're all in different parts of the campus, except for one of us is in a different state. The beauty of this of this broadcast. So, Abby, can we start with you and you introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Abby Gift. I'm a sophomore from Westfield, Indiana, which is about 45 minutes north of Indianapolis, and I am a pre-med bio major and Spanish minor.
Awesome. And Abby, you're sitting in your residence hall room right now?
Yeah, I'm an RA in one of the all-girls dorms on campus called Dykstra Hall, and so I'm in Dykstra right now.
So you can see in the background, Abby decorates really cool. She's got lots of little pictures and things like that. So, yeah.
Here, I'm about
What?
to, my cute parents right here.
Ah, you got to have the parent picture. That's right. Josh, how about you?
Yeah, I'm Josh. I am studying business. I'm sitting in my house in Cookville, which is one of our on-campus housing options. Um, and I've moved around quite a bit. I went to high school in Minnesota. Um, so came to Hope from Minnesota, and my parents have since moved to Idaho. So that's sort of home now.
Neat. Great. Thanks. Vincent, your turn.
Yeah, so my name is Vincent Teo. I'm from San Antonio, Texas. I'm a freshman here at Hope. I'm studying mechanical engineering, and yeah, it's been a good first year so far.
Awesome. Awesome. Hannah, your turn.
Hi guys, I'm Hannah Fuller. I am a sophomore here at Hope. I'm from Fairfax, Virginia, close to the DC area, and I am currently studying psychology.
Awesome. So, Niode?
Hello, everybody. My name is Naoda Stefanos. I'm from Maryland, Bethesda, Maryland, which is also close to DC. I'm a sophomore here studying biology on a pre-health track. So, and I'm in my room. You can see it's glowy.
When we came on tonight, I said, Niode, you look like you're in a disco. And he's like, it's my room. And I said, oh my goodness, this is a great example of how you can take these Hope residence halls and totally make them your own. So
Yep,
when you think of
absolutely.
Niode, you think of intellectual fun. That is Niode. So
Yeah.
Caitlin, can we hear from you?
Hi guys, my name is Caitlin Phillips and I'm a freshman this year at Hope from Kailua Kona, Hawaii. And I'm studying Japanese and Christian history and theology.
Wonderful. So I want you all out there to kind of get to know these students a little better. I'm not going to take every question and they have to repeat it, but the next one I really want you to hear from every student, and that is, why did you choose Hope? My goodness, Caitlin, why did you not stay in Hawaii and you came to Michigan? Do share with us.
Well, for me, I graduated from a really small Christian private school, and I really valued that experience and just the community that came with it. So when I was looking at colleges, I wanted a college that would offer a similar experience. And something that was really important to me was a school with a Japanese department.
Mhm.
And Hope just offers so many areas of study that are really unique at a small Christian college. And also, I just wanted snow. I wanted to try out seasons, and I've loved it so far. So don't be scared. If you're from somewhere really warm and you don't know about the weather, you can handle it and you'll have so much fun.
I get that a lot. And one of the things that I like to talk about when the snow is, can you all guess what I like to talk about when it snows here on campus? Can you guess?
Sidewalks.
What, say it?
Heated sidewalks.
Yes, Abby. Take it, Abby. Talk about that and tell us a little bit about why you chose Hope.
Okay, well, heated sidewalks are, well, they are exactly what they sound like, but they're downtown. So when you like go, okay, honestly, the snow around, it's kind of slippery around campus. You have to be really careful. But then you walk downtown and it's like no snow has even happened. So because it's all heated, which is pretty neat. But like I said, I'm from Central Indiana. So not that far. It's like a 3.5 hour drive. And I have always been someone who's kind of like gone against the grain and liked being that person. And so coming from a large public high school where probably about half my class went to Purdue, IU, or Ball State, big Indiana State schools, I just like wanted to do something different. And Christianity is something, and my faith is something that's really important to me. So I wanted to pursue that. And it's actually funny because I didn't want to like Hope, and when I came, I was like, no, I'm gonna be the one person that doesn't like it. It's gonna be terrible. And then I came and I was like, okay, yeah, this is definitely the place for me. And so it's been like magic ever since. It's the Midwestern hospitality that I love and what I grew up with. So that's like the same for me, and I just love it here. So it's a good choice.
So Abby, when you came and you didn't think you were gonna like it, and you just said it was the hospitality, but is there anything else that comes to your mind like that really stood out compared to other places besides your admission rep? That's probably a big, I was her admissions
Yes,
rep.
of course. I don't know. Again, it was kind of Michigan, even though it's still in the Midwest, like it's just different than Indiana. Like I had never seen a Michigan beach before, and I like went and I was like, oh my gosh, like this is crazy. When I have friends that come and visit me from Indiana also, like they're like, are you sure this isn't the ocean? I'm like, no, it's not. And so that's really nice. Like I go to the beach all the time with my friends to watch sunsets just randomly and just like spending time in nature. And you can drive like 2 more hours north and be like close to the peninsula, and like that's super cool also, and go to Traverse City and hike and do lots of like outdoor excursion-y kind of things, which is I am value as well, to get out of the dorm room and like get out and doing things. And so that was really important to me too. So that definitely drew me to Michigan and to Hope in general.
Yeah, yeah. So all the way from the Longhorn State, Vincent, why did you decide yes, Hope?
Okay, so kind of a bit from both of their stories.
Okay.
Up to my freshman year, I was in a private Catholic school, and at some point, it just became too much to pay for. So I had to go to public school, but I loved the feeling of that tight-knit community.
Mhm.
And I went to a meet about different colleges,
Mhm.
colleges that change America, or colleges that change lives, I believe.
Yep. Mhm.
And I met Pedro, and he's my admissions rep. And just immediately, the way he sold it, he had my attention. And I was leaving, and out of everyone that was there, he ran up to me and asked me for my phone number, asked to get me in touch with Coach Stersma, the head football coach. And he was just adamant, and I was like, he must care, like he must really like his school. So I got to come up to Hope, got to visit, and immediately fell in love with the campus. It's beautiful. And then I got to meet Professor Nielsen, like on my first day of visiting, and he's been in contact with me ever since about getting to go and do different things for engineering, and it's been pretty cool, like all the opportunities that have been open to me. Plus,
Yeah.
the snow is new. Got to see
How we
a
doing?
lot
Oh,
of it.
but Vincent, we didn't have a bad winter. There's all these articles right now saying Michigan didn't even have a bad winter. Was it bad to you? Did you
No,
feel
I
like?
I
Okay.
loved it. We built what's that called? An igloo outside
Yeah.
our outside
did
White Hall. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Did President Skogan come over and was he one of the? Yeah, I saw him on Instagram going with like igloo and snowman and different places
There were a
like
bunch of
that.
them.
Yeah,
ma'am.
that's great. You know, Vincent, one of the things that you mentioned that I just really want to highlight, and we can kind of come back to this, that I think sets Hope apart is those relationship with professors. And it's hard to get to know that when you're just visiting.
Yeah.
But you said, I think it was, I forget the professor now. It was a
Professor
engineering.
Nielsen.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
has still reaching out to you, right? Yeah.
He just keeps me in contact. One, to see how I'm doing, but two,
Mhm.
like different opportunities, which I'm pretty sure we'll talk about later. Like different things we're involved in.
Yeah.
It has a lot to do with, for me, with Professor Nielsen.
And I think we can all agree that Vincent is super cool and we'd all like to be his friend, but it's not just Vincent who gets that treatment. The professors really do care about the students and really do walk beside them. So Josh, tell us why you chose Hope.
Yeah, so when I was looking around at schools, I was in Minnesota, and the only reason I actually found out about Hope was through some family friends who live in Zeeland, which is like 15 or 20 minutes east of here. And I came down to visit them, and they mentioned that I should check out Hope and go get a tour and kind of do all that. So I stopped in and really enjoyed it. Really loved the tour. So that was definitely kind of the initial sort of moment where I like really got to the point where I was considering.
What was it about the tour that you liked?
I think it showed just like the community of Hope really well.
Okay.
My tour guide was awesome. She was an international student, so I think we could connect in a lot of ways through that. Because I grew up overseas, so that was a cool connection. And then yeah, really just seeing sort of like the community of Hope. I came during the school year as well, so students were around and going to classes, and it was very much like kind of a vibrant campus that I felt. And then I got to come in on a fly-in weekend as well, which was a great experience. So came in on a Friday morning, went to a class on Friday, stayed with a student, and got that sort of experience of staying in a residence hall, and then went and watched a football game on Saturday. And,
See, Vincent, football is important.
Yeah. Exactly. So I think I really got like a huge amount of the Hope experience in just a short period of time. And that made a big difference for me too. And I feel like I really got to see what life at Hope is like, and really enjoyed that. And that sort of initial experience with the community of Hope left a lasting impact on me for sure.
And for you students who are out there that are seniors trying to make a decision, and Josh is talking about, oh, wow, Josh got to do an overnight and Josh got to sit in on classes. You know, the only reason we're not doing that right now is because of COVID. But if you are interested in visiting campus, please talk to your admission rep, because we are doing some shuttles from the airport, and we have a place that you can stay in a hotel, and you can still come and get the campus experience. Unfortunately, you can't sit in on classes, but boy, we're doing our best to try to connect you with students so you can see the community that these students are talking about. If you're a junior or a sophomore in high school watching this, like everybody, our prayer is that we are removing our masks and we're going back to normalcy. And then we will, when we can, resume the overnight program that Josh was talking about, as well as being able to sit in the classes. So, Niode, it's your turn.
Yeah, so it seems like everybody's got a little bit of a story as to why they ended up here, and I got one too. So when I was like looking at schools, I'm from Maryland, so I was like looking at mainly schools in Maryland. So I applied to about 13 of them. So I used to be in this program called IA, which helps East African students like get connected into colleges. So when I was applying, Hope was like on the bottom of my list. So I wasn't like looking at it because my mentor was like, "Oh, you should apply to this school," and he made me apply. So then he had Gary come out and interview kids and get to know and like explain things that we had questions about Hope. So I got to meet Carrie there, and she interviewed me, and she invited me for a flying weekend. But when I when I presented that to my dad, he basically said, "You're not going. It's way too far. Like, what are you doing? What are you even thinking going to Michigan?" So I had my mentor, and I told my mentor, I was like, come on, like my dad isn't even letting me visit, let alone even go there. So he's not even trying to let me visit. So then my mentor called my dad, and he was like, "You gotta let him visit at least to see for himself and to see what it's like." So I got to come in for a flying weekend, like Josh said, on a Thursday until about Saturday. Cool people here hosted me, and I got to stay in for the whole like Thursday all the way to Saturday, and I got to go to football games. We went to Good Times, which is a little donut place that really help students really like to go to. And I think from that experience, like of coming here, I sat in the classroom, which Meredith, Carrie's daughter, was in, and it was Dr. Griffin who was in the classroom. So he had us work on like this little project he was given to the class. So we like set out together, and he was like, "You just come in and visit, so just pair with them and work with them." So I got to work with them. And the funny story is, when I came here, I got connected to Dr. Griffin, and I do research with him right now. And he's been like the best mentor for me. So like Carrie said, I think like for me, it was all about like having that close relationship and like at the personal level relationship with professors. And like I have professors that literally invite me to their house for like Thanksgiving because I'm out of state. So they're like, "Oh, you can come spend Thanksgiving with us. You can come spend Easter with us." So I think like, and that relationship definitely helped me, I think, decide what hope was like for me. Yeah.
Hannah, you haven't gone, have you? Trying to keep
No.
track. Okay, good. Yeah.
Yeah, so my story is kind of a combination of a lot of theirs, but I actually was hoping to go to a bigger like state school at first because I hadn't heard about liberal arts colleges before. And Vincent mentioned the colleges that change lives, and my parents were all like, "Look at this book. It has a bunch of colleges that are like very specific to you. I think that you would do really well at one of these." So I was a little hesitant at first, but I checked out a few around Virginia, and then I have a house up in Boyne City, Michigan. And so I ended up heading up there, and they were like, "Let's just check out Hope." And I was very like, "No, I don't want to, like, that's too far for me." And then I ended up going, and like a lot of you said that it's just the feeling you get on campus. Like it's just this place of belonging that you get, and it sounds so cliche and cheesy, but it really is just a feeling. And Christian presence was a big thing for me. I just had been at a school that did not really mention anything about any religion, and so I just wanted a place where I felt like I belonged. I also just love the location of Holland. It's just a beautiful location, and just the liberal arts education. Just being able to be a well-rounded student is very important to me. And so being able to take all these different classes. But yeah, that's kind of how I found Hope.
Yeah. So what we have our first question, and I don't know who is asking it because a name didn't come out, but I'm going to give you my email, and I'm going to give you your exact answer, but we're still going to talk about. So if you can see my name on the screen, my last name is Olesh, O-L-E-S-H. And if you email me olesh@hope.edu, I'm going to give you the exact percentage. But the question is, and then I'd like to talk about this, is what percentage of students are Christian versus other religions? And I think maybe I'm kind of guessing whoever asked this, the question behind the question is everybody a Christian at Hope College? Thanks, Vincent. Yeah, no. And you know what, as an admissions rep, I want to tell you, for those of you who have filled out an application, we don't ask a big old question, are you Christian? What are your beliefs? Where there are schools that do that, we do ask on every application, what is your, are you religious, and what is that? I'm going to tell you my perspective, and then whomever would like to jump in. I think that this is the one question when I get from a student that I can answer the same for everybody. If you're an atheist, if you're agnostic, if you are a charismatic Christian, if you are Catholic, if you are Buddhist, if you are Presbyterian, there's so many. you will find a place here because the Christian dimension is an invitation. It is not forced on anybody. We're not here to tell you what to believe, but if you want to kind of get into it and talk about it and grapple with it, this is a great place to be. If you are pretty set in who you are and you want to grow in a faith, oh my gosh, there are so many options for you to do that. That's how, when I'm working with students, I present it. But if you want to give me your email, I'll give you the exact data because it is available. Anybody else want to jump in with that? How they feel about that?
For sure. So, what class is it? Chemistry last semester, my professor was asking some questions about like what we thought our answers would be. And one of the students, somehow religion got mixed into it. And that question came up and it was like, what do like we believe here? And we were talking about how, percentages and how that transfers to decimals and numbers. And it made sense. About 6 different religions came up in just one chemistry class. And at the same time, like everyone was just laughing about it. No one seemed to show any tension. Like it's cool just how all these different religions mix in. And we have classes to learn about other ones. Like my roommate's taking, I believe, Egyptian religion right now in his second semester. So, I mean, there's always new things that we're learning about each and every religion.
Mm-hmm. So anybody else want to add to that? I don't want to cut everybody off, but we actually have questions. Woohoo! From our audience. Anybody else? Okay.
I just wanted to mention real quick.
Go ahead.
So yeah, we have chapels and they're from Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 10:30 to 11. And like I just wanted to say, like, bring out, like, it's optional. So like it is there for you to go, but if you don't choose to go, it's up to you. So I think like I have a lot of friends that are from like different religions, and some people who are like atheists, some people who are, you know, Muslims that are, I have a really close friends. So like I think it is very diverse. So yeah.
Yeah, if I can add to that, I think what Noah was saying is just so cool because, you know, there's a huge Christian presence, but there are so many other presences on campus. And one of the coolest things that I found about Hope was that, you know, before Corona, that like chapel was optional, but yet it was filled to the brim. Like there's like so many people at chapel, even though it's optional. And I thought that was the coolest thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So Caitlin, we have someone who may have joined later, but they wanted you to kind of repeat why you chose to come to Hope from Hawaii. So could you just reiterate that?
Yes, I can definitely do that. So for me, I actually grew up going to both big public schools, and I ended up graduating from a really small Christian private school, and I really valued that experience so much, and I wanted the same thing in a college. I just knew I would fit in better at a smaller Christian college with a close-knit community, because something that's always been important to me is I don't like just to be a number. I like to be known, and I like it when my teachers and professors know my name. So that's what I was looking for. But obviously, I'm sure there are a lot of smaller Christian colleges in the nation. But more specifically, I was looking for a school that had a Japanese department because I studied Japanese for 3 years in high school and went on a mission trip to Japan, and I loved it. And Hope just has so many different academic programs, and they offered a Japanese program. So I was just looking online for colleges, and I saw Hope. And I kept scrolling because I saw Michigan, and I was like, I don't even know where Michigan is. There's no way I'm going there.
We know where Hawaii is, okay?
Yeah, but I just kept coming back to it in my mind. So I was like, okay, I'll give it another look. Found out that they had a Japanese program. Then I came and visited during a fly-in weekend. And during that visit, that was really what confirmed it for me, just because it felt like home, even though I was so far away from home. And also, I came during November, and it looked like a Hallmark Christmas movie.
Yeah.
So I was set.
Yeah, that is awesome. So panelists, you may or may not know this, but the number one now statistically concern of college students coming to a college campus, I thought it was, am I going to graduate in 4 years? But can you guess what the number one concern is of students coming to campus, to a college campus?
Would it be socialization?
Kind of. Am I going to make friends? So we have a question. I want anybody to jump in, and as many of you. Was it hard to make friends? And I'm going to add to that. Tell me a little bit about how you made your first good friend. So
Yeah, I can start. So my first friend was actually the first day of school. We were moving in and she was my neighbor. Her name's Kirsten. And I look over and she like waves to me, and I thought that would be the end of our like interaction. I didn't think anything of it. And then we later met at a psychology seminar because we both were interested in psychology. And then we talked, sat next to each other, and we ended up getting dinner with our families at Phelps. And so that was really cool. And then she's been my best friend since, and I'm actually going to her house this week for Easter to celebrate with her family. So that's really cool. But other things I've done to stay involved and to make friends, I joined a sorority last year with Carrie's daughter, Meredith. And so that was definitely something that was out of my comfort zone. I did not think I was going to rush. That was like so not my type of thing. But I ended up just, jumping out of my comfort zone. And it was definitely one of the best decisions I made. And you can meet so many different people. So I just encourage you to, try new things that you wouldn't ordinarily do. Because, college is a new experience for all of us. So, and everyone's in the same position. We're all scared and confused. So yeah.
Anybody else? I know freshmen, it's kind of a weird one with COVID, but.
Yeah. Okay. You got it?
Sure, yeah. So my first friend that I really made was my roommate. And that was a cool friendship that I hoped for, but didn't really expect, I guess. So that was a good sort of start, I guess, to getting to know people and making friends and getting connected. But one of the other things that I think really was a huge part of my like freshman year and getting to know people and building those connections was there's a activities fair that's held in the fall every year. And basically every club and organization on campus will like set up a table during one day, and you can go and just sort of check out all the different organizations and everything like that. So I got plugged into a couple different organizations through that.
Which ones did you do, Josh?
Yeah, so I'm a part of our concert series, which brings in different musical artists to come play at venues on campus and at a couple different venues in Holland as well.
Cool. I would like Beyonce to come if you could work on that, please. Okay.
We do have a budget, but I'll see what we can do. So yeah, that was one of the ones that I like joined and have been a part of. But even a couple that I haven't like joined, I've gone to various events and gotten to know people through that as well. So there are lots of good ways to get to know people through various organizations and clubs and things like that. Another big one for me was like intramural sports. So I got to know a lot of the guys in my hall from that. And Hope does a really good job of really providing like spaces and organizations and events and things like that for you to get to know other students.
Mm-hmm. Vincent, did you have something to add to that? Oh, can't hear you. Oh no. There we go.
Okay. So being a football player, my thing was meeting all the guys, and it was crazy how those weren't my first friends. So about 2 weeks into the school year, Wyckoff Hall and I believe Scott Hall's next to us did like a meet and greet where they had ice cream outside. It was like an ice cream social. And after that, we did the Wyckoff Howl at the Moon. If you get into our dorm, you'll figure what that is. And then we went on a donut run. And I met about 8 different people on our floor of Wyckoff, and it was just super fun, super cool. Just this weekend, we went to hang out at one of the dudes' houses in Illinois, and we're all like super tight now. We get food every day together, and you get friends oddly fast, even with COVID in the way. It's crazy.
That is cool. Anybody else want to add like how they found their first group of friends or friend?
I'm just gonna add, like, I know for me, coming out of state, like, that's what I wanted. Like, I didn't want like high school to follow me here. Like, I was done with that. I was like, okay, bye. And was ready for something new. And I feel like you think you were gonna come here and being out of state and be like, I'm not gonna know anyone. I'm never gonna meet anyone. Like, but there's so many people that are in the same boat. And I know like that first week of orientation, like, that was so fun, and I met like random friends, and like we went to the beach together, and I like barely knew these people, but like everyone at Hope feels the same way, and like everyone's so kind and like wants to like get to know people too, and like they don't have cliques already. Like it's not like high school, like it's very different than high school. And like I know for me that was really special. And I mean, I had a core group of friends freshman year. And since I live in Dykstra Hall, if you don't know anything about Dykstra, it's an all-girls dorm here on campus, and it's cluster style. So there's like a central living room, and then there's 8 to 12 to 16 girls that like live outside of that cluster. You share the space, and so those were like my first friends. Like those are the girls I was automatically with, share a bathroom with them. But I don't really talk to any of them this year, and that's okay. It happened. And I think like your first year, it's all about like finding those immediate connections, and then building off of those and meeting friends down the road that you might be closer to, and that's totally fine. I think it's like this general understanding that like you're gonna get to know people at first, and then it might change, and you might grow up a little bit, and like your opinions might change, you might grow apart, and that's okay. And for me, my roommate, this is kind of like the next question, but I was like, is it the next question about roommate?
Yeah, go on. I think finding a roommate is a great question, and I think everybody did it a little different. So yeah, Abby, go for it.
Yeah, I can start talking about that. So I went in blind because I had heard good things about it. I feel like a majority of people go in blind. Some people don't really want to. That's fine. I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna leave it up to fate. It can't be that bad. And so I did. And my roommate's from Grand Rapids. She is the best. Like I've had a great situation. Keep in mind, it doesn't always happen that way, and that's okay. But you go through a whole survey. You fill out like different things about yourself, and like they actually have like someone who selects people together. Like you're not just, something just fell off my wall. You're not just like,
not mom and dad. Okay.
Mom and dad. But you're not just like randomly like generated together. Like they really try to place you with someone that will work for you. And I know in our situation, like my roommate and I grew up very differently. I went to a large public high school. She went to a small conservative Christian high school her whole life, and like grew up in that kind of system. And like we have different political beliefs, we have different like family situations and dynamics, and like the fact that like we're able to live together means that they did it right. And like she lived with me last year, and I live in Dykstra again because I'm an RA, and she decided to stay in Dykstra for a second year and live with all freshmen again, which means that she really likes me, I think. And then we're living in a cottage next year also. So there's like we have a whole plan, and she's my best friend. And so like roommate situation for me has been super great. And I went in blind, so it worked out for me.
Yeah. Anybody else want to tell a roommate story real quick, and then we'll get to another question? Nope, we're good. Niode?
Yeah, I can go. So funny story. So when my roommate first texted me, because when they pair you with a roommate, like Abby said, I also went in blind. So I was like, I'm from Maryland. I don't really know anybody who's going there this year, so I'm just gonna go. And so I filled out that survey. I was like, yeah. When I said, yeah, I like this, I don't like that. You know, just survey about yourself and what you like and what you don't. So when I went in, my roommate emailed me, because what they tell you is they say, oh, here's the roommate. You should email him. You know, introduce yourself. Well, my roommate emailed me. So, but my family and I moved from the house that we used to live in, like right after my graduation, into a new house into a new area that they just built like from scratch. So they didn't have internet whatsoever in the area. So I hadn't seen my roommate's email for like a month or so.
Oh, he's
and then
excited.
I was like, yeah. And then I went to the library. I was like, I need some Wi-Fi to actually look at my emails. I'm getting a lot of emails and stuff like that. And then I went in, and then I log in, and he says, hey, like, my name is so and so and so, like, I'm supposed to be your roommate. Nice to meet you. And then we exchanged numbers, and I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I didn't see this. And then after that, we became like best friends. We go to the beach all the time to see sunsets. We play soccer. He plays soccer. I play soccer. Hence the reason why they must shed together. Like I indicated that. I was like, yeah, I do. We kind of listen to the same music. So it's just, I think like they'll pair you to the extent that like whatever characters you have and whatever the roommate that they pair you up with, I think like they do a really good job of like making that connection. So yeah.
Yeah. So one of the questions too is like tips on finding a roommate. I'm just going to throw in the admission rep perspective and you all correct me, or if you have a different tip. I honestly, in the 10 years I've been here, I've seen more success like Naud and Abby, where you just fill out the form. And the greater percentage of students do that and get a roommate. There's a small percentage who, like on Zeme, the app that you all are on, you can kind of pair up that way. When we pair you, just like Naud said, we're trying to pair you, not maybe you'll be best friends, but you can live together. You know, one of you is not going to be blaring your music and the other one's like, oh my gosh, I don't even listen to that kind of music. Or one of you is not going to be like, I want the door open all the time. I want my room to be like the place where everybody comes. And the other person's like, oh my gosh, I want my room to be so quiet. I want it to be the place I study. See, if you answer that survey completely honestly, you will be paired with someone that you can live with. And I think that's the most important thing. So Caitlin, did you know anybody, or were you paired?
So my story is actually a little random. When I was visiting Hope for fly-in weekend, I had a bunch of plane delays and I was late to the first event. But I walked in and I was really tired because I had an overnight flight. And this one girl came running up to me and she said, "Are you the girl from Hawaii? I heard you were coming." And we got to talking a little bit, and I found out she also wanted to study Japanese.
Oh.
And we found out that we had both been in Japan at the same time, and
Oh, wow.
we kind of just hit it off.
Yeah.
And then we went home, and I didn't talk to her for quite a while, but she messaged me on my birthday and just said, "Happy birthday." And we kept talking, and now we're roommates and we're best friends.
Yeah, that's cool.
We're roommates again next year.
Yeah.
So it worked out for us.
Yeah.
Kind of getting to know each other a little bit in person, but mostly virtually.
Right. So if you end up that you don't have someone you know coming, please rely on the system. It really does work. And Abby and Naud are good examples of that, finding the way we put the roommates together. What about shuttle service, going to the airport? Thoughts on that? Can you give some examples of Vincent, how do you get to the airport?
So I was gonna say, so I did the shuttle service when I came in from San Antonio, and it was awesome. Pedro was there. It felt like you see all those reconnections where like kids pick their dads up from the military. Pedro was there with a sign, said "Welcome to Hope, Vince." On Pedro, there was someone else with him. I believe she was a driver, and then there were about 5 other people here that were also coming in from out of state. So it was kind of cool. Or at least I was on my fly-in. I drove up to get here.
You drove, so you have a car on campus. Yeah. Anybody else? Naud, you've had a pretty cool driver a couple times.
Very yeah. So it's so like I'm still like really thankful for this. So like whenever we are supposed to go to the airport to go back home for breaks and like, you know, for things like that, Carrie drops me off most of the times. I'm so thankful for her. She always comes and she goes, "Hey, yeah, like I just text her and be like, hey, Carrie, like I need to be dropped off at the airport." And we come with a whole bunch of luggages and stuff like that.
We have a story if you ever want to hear it.
She does she does a really good job of handling that. And like, I think it was when the whole COVID thing started. I went to the business service office, and I was like, we were looking for ways to get back home because like we thought the plane wasn't safe. So then a lady named Miss Jania, who works at the business service office, comes to me and she goes, she didn't even know me. Like we have never had a conversation. And she like comes up to me because she overheard me talking to a person saying, I don't have a ride. Like I need to go back because everybody essentially left. And then she comes to me and she goes, do you need a ride? Like I'm definitely giving you a ride, like right now. And she literally left her job to give me a ride to the airport. And I was like, wow, I don't think I would have found that if I went to like, any other school. I was like, I'm really thankful for that. So yeah.
We do have a shuttle service that you can go online and you can book a Hope van, and it's all students going to the airport. So we do have that. But also what you're going to find is people are very friendly here, and you can sometimes professors, myself, staff members are more than welcome to help students get to the airport. The other thing is there's a lot of students that have cars, and you all know Vincent now. So, he has a car. So you meet people, it's easy. You will never be left here. There's a system that if you'd like to follow, or you can just easily go, with a friend. So I have one I want to save to the end. Real quick, Niode, can you talk about making money on campus?
Yeah, there's a lot of ways you can make money and like you can work. So we have a work study program that I was a part of when I first was here a freshman. So essentially what I did was I worked for intramurals. So like you could do like literally like the easiest jobs and still get paid. So I'm like pre-health in the sciences. So what I did was I was a biology lab assistant. So what I did was I went to labs earlier before people came in to do the labs. So I just like set up, maybe get chemicals that people needed to run or things like that. I also work at the Klutz, which is like this really fun. I still work there until this day. So which is this fun little shopping area that we have, like where you get like sandwiches, pizza, and stuff like that, like late night meals when you're studying. I actually had multiple ones. I worked for. I'm in RA right now, which is like a residential assistant, like Abby did. So you could do a lot of things, like fun stuff that you really like enjoy doing. So you could work for like video productions, you could work in the theater department, you can work for the intramurals for soccer, you can work, like you can do literally anything you like, you can find a job in it. So yeah,
thus you can get a job on campus. Yeah. Vincent, there's a question for you. Have you made friends in your engineering classes?
So at first, everyone I met in my engineering class was just a classmate. But it's crazy how I've had other friends from high school that are engineers, and they do not have in-person classes. I have all my in-person classes and labs, and I've made great friends with everyone I've met there. It's awesome. I mean, if I were to call up 3 different people, they'd all say, yeah, let's go study together. And we can always go to Van Zorn and then Vanderwerf and just go in there. There's already rooms set. We can go into computer labs, work on CAD stuff. There's almost always professors in there that are willing to work with you. Yeah, you make friends really fast, especially in engineering.
Vincent and I were in lab together,
especially in
chemistry.
engineering.
So.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Niode.
I was gonna say Vincent and I were in chemistry lab together. So.
That's cool. I didn't know that. Okay, we literally have 1 minute left. This has been so fun. I've learned a lot. The last question we have, I actually want everybody to answer. And that is, what is something you wish you knew before committing to Hope College? Pretty good question. What is something that you wish you knew before committing to Hope College? Anybody have the first answer?
I can go. It's a really good question.
It's an excellent question.
I think it would just be that it's not as difficult as you think it's going to be. Like, I think going into it, I thought it was going to be hard to make friends. It would be hard to keep up with classes. It would just everything just seemed very difficult, and I was scared. And I think my biggest advice is just like, don't be scared. Like it's such a new and fun opportunity for everyone coming in freshman year, and you make so many new friends and you do so many new activities. And so I think it's just like do not be afraid because everything's going to work out the way it should.
Yeah. Who's
Yeah, I would
next?
say something sort of similar. Um, I had heard, I remember about Hope especially, I'd heard a lot of people talk about how your professors are very accessible and all the staff are like very much at your disposal and want to get to know you. Um, and I don't think I realized the degree to which that was true coming in as a freshman. Um, and was a little bit nervous to like go out of my way to meet professors and um, yeah, I guess I didn't really realize um, just how true that was. And I've gotten to the point where I have come to realize that. And at the end of the first class every semester, I'll go up and introduce myself to the professor and try to get to know them a little more. And it sounds almost absurd after like high school and hearing from some high school friends about the schools that they go to, but professors really like will go and spend an hour and a half and grab a coffee with you and not talk about school and just get to know you. Which is, it like doesn't make sense. Why would they do that? But like professors are here for us and they want to make connections and they want to get to know students. And the same thing applies for all the staff that I've met here. So that would probably be my piece of advice. Is one of the greatest assets of Hope is the people that work here, and making sure that you utilize that, I think, is something that I've realized and has been very valuable to me.
Great. Caitlin, what do you wish you would have known?
I think for me, I was pretty intimidated just by the thought of committing because it felt like such a big decision that could take my life in so many different directions. And I think what I wish I had realized was that I didn't need to be scared because no matter where I went, what's really important is the person who you are, in my opinion. So if you decide to come to Hope, you're going to flourish and you're going to thrive. And I wish I had known that it's really not that scary of a decision. And I just wish I had focused more on, just on being a good person, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Niode, what do you wish you would have known?
Yeah, kind of along the same lines of with like concluding with everybody's. I think my biggest intimidation coming in here was like not just like Hope College, like in general, like the college, like college life. I think like English is my second language, so I think like me coming into a big school and like a good school such as like Hope, I think like I was like, oh my gosh, like how am I gonna be able to do all this stuff that's like required from professors, from my mentors, from everything, like I just had like that like insecurity in the back of my mind saying like, oh, how am I gonna do this? Like I think like, well, but once I came here and started taking these classes, I'm like dude, that's like that's like harder than the class I've taken. And I was like thinking that high school was like hard for me. So I think like I didn't realize how much potential I had to be able to do the things I'm doing right now. So I think like having that confidence, like saying, yeah, I'm gonna do it, and like I'm built for this. I think like that was like, yeah, insecurity was like my biggest. I think I wish I would have believed a little bit more on myself than, I mean, I do right now, but like before I came here, yeah.
That's a great one. So how many years, Niode, have you spoken English?
Yeah, I came to the US in 2015, so I've only been speaking it for 5 years now.
Isn't that amazing?
6 years, yeah.
Just awesome. Absolutely awesome. Abby, what about you?
I think that, well, when I came to visit all the times I came, I mean, like everyone who's here understands like the phrase, like the hope happy and like like the hope wave, like, oh, you're gonna walk by everyone, like they're gonna wave at you and like smile at you. And like, I feel like everyone kind of just like gives off this, like, my life is like all put together all the time. Like students are extremely involved. My grades are great. Like my family life is great. Like, but I just feel like, and I came here like feeling like I had to be that all the time, when I really think that like you don't. Like we don't all have it together. Like college is really hard. You're away from your family. You're like learning about yourself. Like classes are really hard compared to high school, in my opinion. And like I just wasn't quite prepared for that, I don't think. And it's okay to not have a good day. And I think I had to realize that even at Hope, and like you have people that are there to support you, and like the people you do meet will be great friends. Like for example, like I came and I tried out for soccer my freshman year. I didn't make the team, which is okay. It wasn't in the cards for me. I'm doing so many other amazing things because I didn't make that team. But Carrie was the first person that talked to me, and like I got caught because my parents weren't here anymore. And so I was by myself, like crying in a room. It's so sad. But Carrie met with me and like was kind of like my mom for the day, and like ended up emailing my mom after and was like, she's okay, like she's gonna be fine. Like that's just what hope is. And like it's okay not to be fine all the time. I didn't really know that or realize that, but like there's always gonna be people supporting you when you're having a bad day, and because they're gonna happen. But to know that you have that community here and like people understand that things are hard sometimes.
Very good. Vincent, you're going to wrap it up for us for the evening. What is it that you wish you would have known?
Oh, so everyone's covered, as I was thinking about it, everyone was covering part of what I was thinking. So the one that stuck the most to me was what Josh said, all the assets you have available to you. And when I was coming to Hope, COVID, was like just getting big and stuff. And I was like, man, this is a bummer. I visited and it was such a lively place. I don't know what it's going to be like when I get there now. I was expecting basically what happened in high school, a bunch of online classes, you don't meet people, you're stuck in a room 24/7. And that changed. That is not what happened. It is you get what you put into it. Like for the first few weeks, I was stuck in my room. I was just like, I don't want to talk to people. Just want to do my classes, do my work, go to football, get it done. Then started going out with friends, started meeting people, and you realize it's not as bad as you might think it is. Like, although, yeah, you're going to have bad days and stuff, it's a lot better than what it could be. Like, I have friends back home that are literally stuck in their houses because their schools are closed. Like, they're still doing online and stuff. Hope College has gone like a long way to make in-person possible in many aspects. We're fighting to have football. We tried getting it this semester, it just didn't happen. But like in all these different scenarios, it's a lot better than it could be. And it just takes 100% from you to get 100% back from the school.
Yeah. Well said. Well said. Well, seniors, juniors, sophomores, freshmen that joined us tonight, thank you so much for listening to us. Panelists, this was fun. I could talk to you all for hours. So thank you for your time. And for you seniors, your admission reps are available with questions. And we openly say to you, we'd love for you to be at Hope College. Thank you and have a good evening. Bye-bye.